Hope everyone's well. So this is the last time I'm going live today. Oh, back on, but we're just way back from the walk. And yeah. Hope everyone. Let's get this shared out if you can. I don't want to say that here. But so I'll talk a bit about like astral projection and all that. I'll talk about that in a minute. See who shows up. But yeah. I mean, maybe it can be good for people to kind of just take their consciousness to somewhere else, like I said, you know, because if having a lack of something is what's kind of like affecting your mental health, and you know, maybe like living in kind of make-believe type of like, not make-believe, but like as in, you know, sort of like living in your own mind might be what you need to do just to kind of give you some kind of comfort, really. Just to like imagine that, you know, it's not just about imagination, because, yeah, you can imagine things, but then it's not that deep level of kind of immersion into it, like, if you know what I mean. So, but yeah, like I said, I'll talk a bit more about that, and because it might sound a bit vague, but basically, yeah, just wait and see who shows up. But yes, so that this astral projection thing, it's like, the way I see it is that when you're in a deep level of consciousness, that where you pretty much just, you can become like to a point where you're projected into that thought. It will feel like you've come out of your body, but you haven't really. It's just kind of like, it's just a mental state, really. But you're still obviously in your body, but it feels like your consciousness has gone elsewhere. And I've had times where it felt like it kind of gone like that, where my consciousness felt like it had left the body, kind of thing, and felt like I've left that reality or something. Hello, one person. How you doing? I hope you're well. Like the live, please. So like, you can feel like you've left the reality, and so if you want to try out, you know, being in paradise, maybe some tropical paradise or something, wherever you want to be, you know, maybe try that, you know, maybe see how it feels to like, you know what I mean? It could. You will. Okay, thank you for subbing. So try out, you know, feeling like you're in paradise or something, you know, in a tropical paradise somewhere with like kind of sunny beaches, with like just beautiful, you know, like trees and like the palm trees, all that kind of stuff, whatever you can think that would be there, and what I would say to do is get yourself into a state of consciousness where you're kind of like, you're feeling a bit kind of, you know, a little bit sort of in that little tired, shall we say, and that's where you're probably in the best state to kind of initiate that kind of state of like that deep kind of, you know what I mean? Hello, Mimi. Thank you. Sounds good, saying what you mean. Even about the whole astral projection thing. So like I said, I don't think that it's a real phenomenon, but I think it's a state of consciousness. Like, I think it's like theta consciousness, and you can feel like you're going out of your body. There are times where I've got that what they call hypnagogic jolt, where it feels like you're coming back into your body or something. Where suddenly now you've got awareness of your body again. It's like it can get to a point where you haven't got awareness of your body, and then it's sort of like that's to where like it feels like you've entered a new reality where like you're kind of maybe you're somewhere else, maybe you're in the tropics or something. So what are you saying, one person? What's your name, by the way? One person. I didn't know that. What's that? So it's about your consciousness and yeah, like being like sort of in that theta brainwave state. So if we can sort of get ourselves to that state, then they say that you can, you know, have these like out of body experiences. But there's a lot of people going about like near-death experiences and stuff, and it like where they feel like they've, you know, there seems to be this common thing where you get like non-believers and they say that they've seen like the afterlife or something like that, and I don't know whether to trust all that kind of stuff. One person edits, okay, cool. So what do you do on YouTube then? So like, I don't know whether I would trust all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I kind of like see the meditation, relaxation stuff almost like a reward of doing exercise. Like you work out hard and you train like an MF, you know, like and then you, after all that, you just want to relax. I feel like that's a good time to get yourself into that, where you can just project your consciousness into some other reality, into maybe an artificial reality or something, but that's good because you can make whatever you want to happen. But the thing is, like I said, what even is reality? Because all these colors and everything that we see, they're just created by your mind. So when you see blue and red and all that, that's just whatever your mind's made up. So when it comes down to it, reality, there is no real reality necessarily, because it's all just whatever our mind is telling us. Like our mind is telling us that, you know, that grass is green or whatever. That's how we perceive it. But it's just, there needs to be an observer there, and like we can go quite deep with all this stuff, but I'm just walking at the moment, like, what is it with this attitude anyway? I mean, I don't know, like, what is your problem, but I think I'll just have to get rid of you for a while now, so, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, just kind of, you know, just exercise, be, active, and then spending time relaxing and recovering. And while we're doing that, we can sort of just take ourselves where we want to go, you know. Dream of being somewhere else, you know. Hi, Graham. Now, I know you should probably try to, you know, work towards your goals and all that. But maybe there's certain things that that aren't really on the cards for everybody, you know. Not everyone's cut out to become a multi-millionaire, maybe. But at least you can imagine it. You can dream what it would be like, you know, if that's what you wanted to do. Did you know when you're spinning, if you spin for a good amount of time, your brain will still think you're spinning? Yeah, it's like when you're on a treadmill and you come off it, it still feels like you're running on it. It's weird. So I guess it kind of goes to show that, like, our senses can trick us. So the thing is, what even is this reality, you know, because our senses can trick us so easily. it's like with like illusions and things like that, when we see like these optical illusions, and it's like, well, what even is reality then, you know? Our minds can easily be deceived, and it's, yeah, it just makes you think, is like, what the hell? What even is this reality, you know? But I think, who knows? A lot of people say it could be a simulation. Now, some might say, well, it just seems too organic for it to be a simulation. Well, it could be like an organic simulation, if you know what I mean. Like, it might not be like a computer simulation of sorts, but I had this theory where it could be some kind of like imagined reality where maybe it's some kind of collective consciousness where, like, basically there might be some source consciousness or something like that that has made up this reality just by thinking. Everything starts from a thought. So it's this idea that, like, you have, like, say an invention come out and stuff, and it's like they all came from a thought. So, like, what if the whole reality just came from a thought of like a collective consciousness of sorts, and everyone that's experiencing life right now is just a fragment of that? But that sounds like some kind of Gnostic type of stuff, really. But who controls AI? Oh yeah. Yeah, some suggest that AI might start being able to, like, come up with its own ideas. I suppose it kind of does, but then, like, it still needs human input or something like that. But it's like a lot of the information that is, like, is pulling off of, like, kind of databases and stuff. But yeah, it's just all a very, like, complicated subject. Yeah, it's just AI stuff could get pretty dangerous. It's already shown, like, that it can be dangerous because of, like, how people use AI to, like, scam people. Like, there's these deep fake scams and things like that. Hello Richie, how you doing? Make sure you subscribe if you're new here. And you get these, like, AI scams and things, and people have just got to be very careful. But it's just that there's a lot of these older people who are not familiar with it all, really. This is a thought I had. Will there always be generations of people that, like, fall behind? Because it's like, yeah, you get some of, like, the older generation start getting on computers and things like that, but a lot of them are still not going to be familiar with, like, AI, because it's like they don't catch up with a lot of the new technologies, it seems. It's like they're kind of always seem to be behind in some way. Some of it could be that some people get stuck in their ways and they just don't catch up with everything, and there's some that do, but most of them seem to kind of be a bit behind in technologies. So a lot of them might not be familiar with how, like, say, deep fakes can be used to scam people, and maybe they need more, like, education on that kind of stuff. But hello Doc Christopher Lloyd. I've just been around York. I've just been walking down the river and stuff. So yeah, I'm just walking back into town now. Just remember, man, we're here for you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, so yeah. So, like I said, you know, to not, like, have really any expectations maybe is a good idea. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't. All we have to do is just, if we want something in life, just imagine it, you know. That would be a lot easier, I guess. But then again, like I said, if we just work out, we're healthy, that's all that matters. We just kind of dream of what we want in life, you know. And then kind of, yeah, just get into, like, a deep meditative state or something, you know. At least you don't have to deal with all the drama of people, I guess, if you do that. I don't know. Because, like, for example, if you get in a relationship with somebody, there can be lots of things that can happen and that can sort of like interfere with it. But if you can just like dream of being with your dream person, then that can like be like the sort of, you know, like a sort of ideal situation where you're not having to deal with all the drama and all the chaos, and you can just have everything the way you want it to. It's obviously a temporary thing, because as soon as you just kind of get back to reality, then it's like, yeah, but at least you can temporarily just kind of escape and just kind of something to kind of take you away from the mundane life. Guess what? What's that? So yeah, this astral projection thing, I think, is just your mind wandering, and just kind of you get to a point where your body's becomes so relaxed, and then you just able to kind of just project your consciousness out of it. Not literally though. I kind of just don't feel like I'm really making a lot of sense right now. But yeah. But I'm trying to just kind of be at peace with whatever will be kind of thing. And I feel like that can be a way to help me with that. Is to just feel like that, oh well, whatever happens, at least I can kind of just imagine that. And if I get deep into a certain kind of state of consciousness, then I can make whatever the hell I want happen. Because again, what even is reality anyway? To me, like, that's just as real as the reality that we're in. It's like, you know, if we're in a deep dream, you've had some dreams, right, that are like, feel very vivid, you know? And it's like, hello, blamed. What are you saying? I don't know, but you just retracted it. So what I'm saying is, like, if you're, you know, kind of, what's it, you know, talking about like dreaming, as when you're dreaming and it feels real. So like, and then you come out of it and be like, oh, I thought I was, you know, I thought I'd just become rich or something like that, for example, or you thought you just met the love of your life or something, you know? And then there's that disappointment when you realize that that was all a dream. It's mad how we can think things are real when they're not, but then who's to say that this reality is even real, you know? Who's to say anything's real? Because if our minds can be so easily tricked to thinking that a dream is real, then who's to say that anything is real? Yeah, it might feel real, but a dream can feel real too. So I don't know, like, what your thoughts on that is, but sorry to hear about that. But yeah, so just kind of keep walking down here, you know, just what percentage are we on now? Oh, we're only on 12% battery, so I'll have to get off in a few minutes. But yeah, it's just trying to learn to be at peace with whatever outcome happens, because, you know, it's all about, you know, just knowing that whatever happens, you know, as long as you got your health and your well-being and all that, then that's all that matters. What are you on about? Bottle of milk? What are you saying? But we gotta just try and focus on what we have right now, and if there's things that you want that you don't have, just to visualize it, just to get into that state where it feels like it's real, and just kind of enjoy it for what it is. I mean, it might sound weird and kind of, I don't know, but I mean, we've just got to try and make the most of it. We all deserve to be happy and get whatever we want, but unfortunately, sometimes life deals you a bad hand, you know? Maybe you just weren't lucky, you know? Maybe you weren't talented enough, I don't know. Some people are just naturally talented and they can make whatever they want to happen. You know, some people are just not lucky, unfortunately, but maybe they're just not smart enough or whatever. Like, there's times where, like, yeah, I suppose you could be, like, dumb and still be successful. There is people that do that, but if you don't have certain things, you know, certain qualities, then it can be hard, you know? In your own mind, you can become your own superstar. You can become, you know, feel like, you know, you're famous and that you're the superstar, you know what I mean? You can be whatever you want to be, you know? You can become some rock star, become, you know, imagine that you're playing sold out shows and that you're, hello, Gov Drone, how you doing? And that might sound sad, but it's like, you know, I don't think everyone is necessarily cut out for like certain things. It's just, but if you still want to have that, then just pretend that you're in that reality, I guess. Pretend you're that star that you always wanted to be. You keep trying and never getting there. Well, just get deep into that kind of zone where it feels like you have all that, where it feels like you're, imagine feeling that feeling of just, you know, where you're going, you know, you go to the bank and you see you've got $1 million in there or something. How would that feel like, you know, sort of thing, and just immersing yourself into that. Okay, see you later, one person edits. Yeah, who's still in here then? But yeah. And for some people, it's not that they can't do it. Sometimes it might be just that some people are afraid to take risks and stuff, and that's why they just stay stuck. But like I said, in that case, just, you know, just dream it, you know. That kind of contradicts a video of me where I was kind of talking about these grifters that try and encourage you to dream the reality that you want. That's not going to make it happen, but maybe for some people they need to just dream, because even if it doesn't ever manifest to them, then at least they can still experience it in some way. I mean, are you there, Grub Drone? Experiencing that kind of abundance in your own mind. Like, if I just could imagine that I'm like talking to 1 million people right now, for example, even though I'm probably only talking to 2, it's saying, but if we could just, like, yeah, when we're deep in relaxation, we can just think about how it would feel like to be a fucking superstar, like a celebrity or something, and at least you're able to experience that without all the downsides, because these things can have a lot of downsides too, you know. So when you're dreaming and you're just having that kind of these thoughts and stuff, you can do it without having all the negatives associated with it as well. Because when, let's say, you become famous, then you might just get a lot of annoying people constantly trying to ask you to sign their autograph, or people trying to just like, you know, you might get people trying to find out where you live and things like that, and you have to have security around you all the time and things like that. So the thing is that they say be careful what you wish for, but if you can just imagine what you want in your life, then you can imagine it without all these annoying things. So in some ways it can be good, because you don't have to have all that crap that comes with it. You can just imagine a life, the perfect life. But then some might say, oh, but that you won't be motivated to do anything. Well, I'm motivated to be healthy and to be fit and all that. I still want to achieve things in life, but I can just only achieve a certain amount of things in my life. And you just have to come to terms with that, I guess. Some things are not meant to be, but you could just imagine that, oh, well, what if it was? What if I did get that? What if I did start that business, and how that would feel like? But again, there's a lot of downsides that come with these things as well, like all the responsibilities that you might have. For example, these things can like put a lot of people off, and a lot of risks that you've got to take and all that, you know. You could just project yourself into a reality where you already have those things and there is no risk. You just kind of, everything's just flowing smoothly, everything's perfect, you know. You don't have to worry about all the stresses of trying to compete and all that, because there is no competition. You are the best in your field, and everybody knows that. You are a star, you are the greatest at what you do. Nobody can even compare to you, let alone compete with you. Like everything's just going in your favor, and just kind of nothing's going wrong, nothing can go wrong, because it's paradise and nothing is nothing can stop you from doing what you want to do. So yeah, so paradise, I guess you could say, it's like a state of mind, state of consciousness. You know, it's just a state of like what do you call it, like euphoria. Being able to just achieve everything that you want in life and more. But it's all in your mind. But everything is all in your mind anyway. You know, everything that we think is real is all in your mind. Like when you see money and whatever, like it's just like there's all these signals interpreted by the brain, waves and things. But some say that a particle is just a wave until it's observed, you know. So all this stuff that appears real, who even says it even is real? Because in your dreams it seems real too. So yeah, right, I'll be back on later, everybody. Peace out, everyone.